Hi Yogi, how are you?
I'm doing well, Bev. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So, today the topic that came up for us is trust in relationships. And in order to trust, like I wrote in the headline for us, we need to take a risk. We need to risk that showing up vulnerably is going to be received without judgment. And that can be scary.
Mm-hmm.
And we can talk about, I want to hear how you see it showing up in your work. We can talk about where that comes from in our childhoods, how we learn, in fact, to trust the world. What is your experience?
I think my experience of trust is, as you mentioned, like knowing that that showing up vulnerably will be okay, and I think that's big part of trust. But at least in the beginning, you don't know if it'll be okay or not, and I think being okay with even that and showing up, trusting only that much where I can show up, where even if it's not okay, I'm gonna show up vulnerably in a small amount, right? And I think I guess from the early age, we learn to protect ourselves. Evolutionarily, it makes sense to protect ourselves. And I
Right.
think lack of trust, or somebody judges us and distrusts us, or I think something bad happening in the relationship is just not desirable, and we don't want to get into that. So distrust is a very good like a short term strategy. Like, because if I don't trust anybody and I'll be good for the next, few minutes, few hours, few days. I'll be okay. But then long term, that's not a good strategy. And short term is about survival. So that I think distrust is a good strategy, except that it doesn't work in the long run.
And I love what you said about it increasing in increments, that when a relationship's new, there might be only a certain amount of trust, but it will expand the more the promises and the expectations that the person sets out and they keep and they translate that into action, the more trust will grow. The
Yes.
more that you keep your word, in other words,
Yeah.
the more
Yeah.
trust
So
grows.
you build trust on top of trust, as you said. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly, and it'll expand. And if we look at the evolution of trust, if we look at children, say, playing in a park with their parents, and they can go off because children are curious and we remain curious throughout our lives. But let's take a young child, goes off and hurts themselves or falls and comes back to the parent. The parent has two ways of responding. Say they've hurt themselves, they're crying, they come back to the parent. The parent can respond in two ways. Either there's nothing to be afraid of, there's nothing, you haven't hurt yourself terribly, in which case the child will often not feel heard. Or the parent can say, come, let me hear. Let's look at this together. And then, when our nervous systems have calmed down, we can actually take a look at it together. We can bring in that leadership of parenting. In fact, that happened to me yesterday. I was looking after one of my grandsons and he fell and cut his lip. And I let him cry while I held him. And then only maybe an hour later, when he was really onto the next thing, did actually what actually happened there.
Hmm.
And he was able to of course tell me, but it
I love
wasn't
that.
something that I went straight away to either tell me what happened or you know what, look at the beautiful lights there. I didn't want to distract him. I just held him and said, wow,
That's
that's
beautiful, because what you're saying is trust is not a cognitive thing; it's an emotional thing,
it's a
and
feeling.
it's a feeling. and
Beautiful. I
and I
love
think
that.
I remember a story like a son who was afraid of monsters under his bed, and he was woke up at night, and he told his dad, like, came out of the room, told his dad there's a monster in the room, and dad helped him search the monster in the bed, under the bed, and they found nothing, and then he was able to sleep peacefully. So there was no
Hmm.
need to explain there's no monster. Then he's like, let's search. Oh, there's nothing. Oh, it's okay.
Excuse me.
So in a way, just you just act in a way. kind of like what you said, I'm just going to hold
Right.
your grandson instead of trying to explain to them that it's okay.
Right. And as we get older in our relationships, when we get hurt or overwhelmed and we come to our partners and say, oh my golly, this and this and this happened. And they start telling us, well, did you consider doing this? Maybe you did this. We don't feel heard. And then we start blocking out because I don't feel you hear me. So I can't really trust you that you're going to hold me when I am feeling overwhelmed and I need to be calmed, help to be calmed down. Trust will erode.
Yeah. And how do we build trust if there is no trust? I guess that's one question worth thinking about. Like, let's say you realize that, oh, there's no trust here in the relationship, or there's lack of trust. How does one build trust? Do you have some thoughts around that?
Yeah, I think so. I think to become aware that when your partner or whoever you're communicating with comes to you with something that's bothering them, it might not be about you and it might be about something in their lives, is to pause and just be there for them. I think that will give a sense of, I can trust you.
So instead of solving things for them, you just be there for them.
Exactly. I hear you. I hear that was difficult. And if it is about you, what can I do? And what can I do right now?
I love that.
What action can I take? Oh, you could apologize. Oh, I can do that. Not, well, next time you needn't get the milk and da-da-da. What can I do right now? You could apologize. You could hold me. That
beautiful. So I think that's I like that what you said about the one side of it is when they are being vulnerable, being there for them. And I think other side of building trust for me is also when I'm being vulnerable and I don't feel like my partner is trusting, and actually starting to trust in a small way. And I'm gonna be open up, even if me being vulnerable, I might get hurt because I don't trust. So okay, I'm gonna trust in small ways, and then over time that's building up. I remember actually like 3, 4, 5 years ago, I specifically thinking I don't trust my wife as much as I would like to, in terms of like listening to my difficulties and pain. And I think that small shift, like I'm gonna start trusting, and now I think the trust is very high now over time that has shifted.
So that's beautiful what you're saying, that when we want to trust someone and we want to feel that they can trust us, we need to open up. We can't remain protected and connected at the same time. You can't say, I don't trust, but I want to feel connected to you. If your partner is taking action, they might not be doing it 100%. That's okay. They might only be doing 5%. Let it in. Let it in, receive it, and take that risk. That now they are showing up for you.
I feel like you mentioned a couple of times this idea of vulnerability. I think vulnerability and trust really go hand in hand. I wonder if you can have one without the other. Probably not. I think that you just need vulnerability in order to have a trusting relationship.
So. It's really standing completely naked in front of your partner without judgment, and that's scary. That can be really scary. It can be scary to be so intimate, so raw and intimate.
I think in the beginning it is scary, but once you actually build trust, it's actually beautiful. It's scary and beautiful. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
In my experience, I think that has been the case, that it was scary in the beginning, but once I think that, trust is usually mutual. Over time you start to develop it, but you can't ask somebody to be vulnerable, then I'll be vulnerable. It's more about just you start to become vulnerable, start to build trust. They trust you, they start to become vulnerable, and then it kind of trust builds on top of itself. Beautiful.
And that it also comes down to your self-esteem and how grounded you feel. That I feel confident enough in myself that I can share more of myself with you.
That's a really good point. If you are okay with yourself, you become vulnerable, and let's say if you're not being treated well, you are okay.
Right. If you don't
Yeah,
receive me
important.
in the way that I think I should be received, then I have power and choice and agency to decide what to do.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like self-esteem or a good self-concept is very important for that
Mhm.
also. Yes. Awesome.
Thank you, Yogi.
Thank you, Bev. Thank you for
See you
sharing your
next week.
insights.